Your
And
blush.
Susie is here with us. And Susie, don't worry about your spelling. Listen, that provided us with a good laugh.
Oh, I love those
Humor is
spelling
good.
errors. Yeah,
Humor is good.
I know.
And
Life
listen,
is life is too serious already. Seriously.
it is. It is. Oh my goodness. It is thus through my mistakes that yeah, the humor of my mistakes keeps me going. Truly. But hey, Susan,
The river. Wow, look at you. Beautiful.
they're like in Windsor today. Is it warm? Interesting. Oh, you all. Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the weather like in Windsor today, Susie? Hello, beautiful ladies. Hello. Hello, Magnet. How are you? Mina. Okay, so now I'm gonna say Mina. That's right. You're gonna remind me of that, okay? If when I am, please remind me of that. Rainy and sunny. Ah, well, that's all right, especially if it's hot. Because if it's too hot, you need that rain sometimes just to take off the to help cool things down. Yes.
So the rain is great. It's great. Yeah. And you look beautiful, Hilda. Oh my goodness. Are you running a fashion like a pageant, like a fashion show or something?
First of all, I am a clothes hound. I am a clothes hound. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a clothes hound. But here's the deal. I have more summer clothes than I have winter. So, in my summer, of course, you know what? Listen, I don't care what day of the week or whatever, because you don't often have an opportunity to wear them because of the weather. So I go weather permitting. And hello,
Hi,
moonlight,
Moonlight.
moonlight.
Welcome.
Hello, yes, both. What is that?
Inter
Internet levels is over
It's
31 Celsius. Oh,
okay.
31. Yeah, so that's hot. That is hot. And it's saying that we have 17 in the chat. 17 in the chat. Wow. Well, for 17 in the chat, I'm gonna say hello to everyone. And I don't see all of you, so you know, um, I would call out your name, but I don't see you. So, and that is just what YouTube has been doing to me. And I'm gonna assume it's YouTube because I wouldn't do it to myself. I want to see everybody. But hello, and I'm gonna say welcome, uh, and welcome, Miss Revneet Winds of Reflection, back to our space for another powerful conversation. Um, I have been thinking about this actually since we decided to do it because that's what happened, folks, when we have conversations and we hit on a topic that we know that is definitely going to spike with the collective, because it's what most of us, I think, are going through. And well, we're going to be talking about letting go, in how we are sometimes looked at as being cold, and really in being cold, in is it being cold or are you growing? So we're going to just talk about the different aspects of that topic in the different layers that come with it, because there is a process. It is a process. And where does that process start? And I think it's really good to talk about that process because we are in a time period of where we have been going through an upgrade. whether we want to or not. We talked about that last week. Whether we want to or not, we are going through the upgrade. And there are things that have to go, whether that's people, places, or things. And that process of letting go can look like something different for all of us. So, once again, another powerful conversation to discuss this so that you know what we can help. This is a way of helping one another. And I know that I'm always enlightened by these. So, welcome, Revney. And I'm going to stop rambling.
And um, these conversations are important because if we don't talk about it, I'm not sure how we are going to deal with it. And the things that we don't talk about actually make us miserable. So it's our attempts to um, just talk about these things, and it's not about right or wrong. It's about being authentic, as so we try to be. Um, and I think this topic came up um, because if you really go out in nature, we will see different types of flowers and plants, and they might have different natures, and some will need more air, some will need more light, and some will, they all have their own different behaviors and personalities, but and then it's not about right or wrong again. It's just being real to yourself and see what you need and what works for you. Um, but I think the whole topic is around tuning in to yourself and seeing what you need, and that includes um like Hilda said, it can be situations, it can be people, it can be behaviors, our behaviors, our patterns as well. We also need to be called out. Sometimes we can be in our own way, which is most of the time, actually. um yeah.
And there's more than just we're all our own pattern, and we all need that something different. But you know what? We don't live in the world that allows you to ask for. We don't live in that world. So when you're talking about, you know what, letting go and what that process looks like, we are not even told that we can let go. So that's a whole process with that right there. You know what? We're programmed to hold on. And when it only makes sense that, you know what, okay, I'll just use the example of a pair of shoes. You know, you don't keep the same pair of shoes when you grow out of them. You're going to find a new pair of shoes because if you don't, what's going to happen to the foot? The foot is eventually going to, you know what? It's not even going to grow properly. So I know that was the quickest example that I could get, but we don't often give ourselves that when it comes to growing as an individual and growing out of things or situations or people.
And Susie's saying, I'm freezing up and cutting in and out. Let me know if this helped, Susie, because I just um can you hear me okay, Hilda? Can you hear me okay? Okay.
So, you know what? I'll probably once again I'll see something like that in the playback when we play it back. So yeah, am I?
Something. That's what helped for me. No, no, just you can restart your video in from the right side, or you can. Okay, yeah, try that. Did that help, Susie? Let us know. Oh, that's bad.
in the last video that we did. Oh yes, I froze me, and it was like you were talking, and my mouth is wide open, waiting for flies to come through. But that was yes, yes. Now hear this first. See that alternation. Okay, we're not going to let YouTube get in the way of tonight's conversation because that would happen with you the other night. So it's got to be something with the retrograde. Do you think?
On. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you did pay the bill. Okay. Good. Good to know. Yeah. So sorry, I cut you off. You were saying about outgrowing.
Really? You know what? Uh, you actually inspired uh, tonight's conversation. So I'm gonna let you, you know what, lead, and then you know what. And when I say that, I know that you have particular points of where you want to start from, and I'm gonna kind of let you lead it out because this really was your idea. Okay.
I guess all my life I have learned this lesson of letting go and how it has actually helped me become more of myself and what I wanted to do. Um, so it also means that when you are working on yourself, for example, um, and people around you are not doing the same kind of work, sometimes it can be hard to relate to them. And it does not mean you don't love them because you don't stop loving people that you care for or that you have met in life. But you kind of lose that connection, that deeper connection, because that's where you are right now. And it becomes challenging because, um, and I guess I'm talking pretty abstract, so I will give an example. So, um, like for example, I had friends in college, right? And we were roommates and we spent a lot of time together. And I was living away from, like, I was living in a hostel. Um, so when I say hostel, it's like that on premise accommodations in universities, right? We call it hostels in India. I know it's called something else here. Um, so we spent a lot of time on premises and because we were also living together. But over time, I realized that I've always been very focused on myself and my inner work. Um, and that does not mean I did not fit in where I used to, but that growing and evolving will organically lead to situations where you will feel out of place. And it took me a hard time to accept that feeling out of place is a good sign. But at that time, it did not feel good. It felt like something is wrong with me. I should be wanting the same thing as people of my age want, like kids and husband and a happily ever after. Um, but I did not feel that. And I thought something is wrong with me. Surroundings also told me the same thing, like, because everyone had a hard time understanding what is going on. Um, but then it took me a long time to understand that it almost becomes suffocating. I feel like it's not even a choice anymore. It's almost like outgrowing, like you were saying, it's like outgrowing your childhood clothes. It's not like you were not that once. You were a child once, but you just stopped fitting in those clothes. And is that a bad thing? Just think about it. It's just you grew. It's a natural um, evolution, right? Um, Go on.
Um, you were saying it's not a bad thing that what but when you're experiencing the experience, it's the opposite. The thing of it is if we were more self-aware about what we were really truly feeling and and looking more from an introspective point, from that point, and being more aware of what we feel when we're walking into spaces, we wouldn't keep walking into the spaces. Or it's being aware and then, you know what, making yourself continue to go into the spaces because you've had to contort or you have to change. And you're saying you do all that process where all you have to do is just, I don't want to do that. I don't, something's changed here. We no longer align, but no, we don't do that. We don't, um, um, because this process is the same as adults coming through an issue. It's the same thing. Something changed up, something doesn't feel good, or something's, and we don't pay attention.
Root chakra mentality of tribal. It's a very tribal mindset where in the tribe it's all about people and community and but I think what happens is that, and I guess that's the lesson of root chakra, to um, evolve and be yourself within the community. I guess that's the goal, but it starts with this. It starts with people telling you who you are, right? That's how we all start, right? um as a child, everyone tells you who you are, what to do, and I guess that's the process of going through that and then claiming back your unique identity within the tribe, because
Yeah,
that's what we are really doing. We don't want to go away from the tribe, but we
no,
just we don't want to lose ourselves either,
right, right.
right?
Very good, very, very, very good, very good point. And it's often you need to leave the tribe in order to find yourself so that you can find your own individuality, so you can nurture your own individuality, especially when your own individuality is not nurtured inside that tribe.
Right. And I guess then that's where our personal agreements, or I guess contracts, come in, our soul contracts, um, where we have to learn these lessons um, of growth. And some people, I don't know, I guess I'm going pretty vague there, but I guess that has been my journey, I will say. I don't think it's everyone's journey. I will definitely say that, because if you have people who see you for who you are, and I think it would be very different journey. But then I also know that for some reason, um, we don't learn through just affirmations. We learn through knowing what we don't want, what we don't like, what doesn't work for us. That has been my case. I would love to know what people in the chat think, because I think I learned more from meeting people or going through experiences which did not work for me. And that made me more certain and confident in myself, um, of who I am. And I'm still working on it, but like, the experiences actually helped me, no matter how painful they were. Go on. Yeah. I'm rambling.
I think of the friendships that, you know what, I guess I because I wasn't honoring my own awareness. I was feeling a certain kind of way and not allowing myself to, you know what, even explore that and say, okay, where's this coming from, really? Brushing a lot of stuff off. Um, um, oh, yes, I think that that took place in a lot of my friendships. And I stayed far too long. That's why I have a problem with that word friendship because I believe that, you know what, reason, season, lifetime. Oftentimes, though, there's a reason because there's a lesson to be learned there. Whether it's you're teaching them a lesson or they're teaching you a lesson. And you see, with the box thinking that we come out of in the program thinking, we think, oh, my bestie forever. Not thinking from the line of
Mm.
the thought process that, you know what, okay, what am I to learn here? And when you also
Yeah.
think of the whole thing about bestie forever, that is almost a
Mm.
smothering. A smothering. Like I don't even know sometimes what I'm gonna do
Mm.
next week. And you got me
Yeah.
committed to you forever. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not that I'm
Yes.
shallow, but you know, when you look at the uh whole aspect of like I said, reason, season or lifetime. No. Even today I'm mid 60s and feel or act younger than people my age. And the best lessons are learned through what doesn't resonate. That's right. Even term bestie. Yeah. Yeah. Bestie. Well, when you're saying that that's my bestie, you're also discarding somebody over here that, you know, it's ranking. I do not like that term bestie because it's like you're ranking people and, you know, you don't rank me.
Yeah.
You don't put me in a rank. Because when you put somebody else in a
Yeah.
rank, you're ranking me. What am I? She's bestie. What am I? Crumbs? Am I, you know, bottom crumbs? Fuck, I'm nobody's crumbs. Hell no. You go on with your bestie. Oh, whatever car that was, my God, all I can smell is gas. So fix your engine. Fix something. Oh my God. You very rarely get that here, but a lot of smell back.
Back on that was my way of finding home in a person when I didn't have one. And I think we use these terminologies to feel a sense of belonging. And of course, you can also use the same words to, you know, make people jealous, all that stupid things, um, and to claim the person and to all that gripping energy. But I don't think when I have used that term, and it's worth thinking about it too, like, why do we use these words, right? But I do feel that relationships, and I will also say marriages and sisterhood and all of these terminologies that we do use, sometimes we use that to stop thinking. So we don't have to think. So we don't have to work on that relationship. It's easier to, it's almost like it gives a sense of security to our minds. So we don't have to think like, oh, are we alone? That's what I feel, but it can't, it's my observation. Um, but again, I'll go back to this is not the answer, at least for me. It's not because and I that's been my lesson too. I had to at one point leave everything and everyone to understand who I am. And trust me, you will never be alone because Spirit always makes sure, always sends people to help you through that process. So that's another thing. You're technically never alone. So that's our ego's way of making sure we always have support. But we always have support, has been my experience. Yeah.
I've said that. Even every time I say it, I automatically know. So I have to be very cognizant the next time I say it. Because on you, we listen. I was never alone. You're very right there. I always had spirit and angels. Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And answer
Books, animals, birds, nature, like random people, strangers. If you're just open for it, if you're too boxed in, and that is what I think trauma does to us. We can't see the full picture. We just see what's not working. We don't see what is working, what is happening for us. And I think it's all how you look at it. And even if you can't look at it, can we at least try to be open and present? I think that also gives a lot of answers if we just take the time to stay open and be present. That's where I have found so many of my answers. It does not come from noise always, I think. And that's the journey, the hero's journey, like Joseph Campbell talk about, right? We all are heroes in our own lives. And the answers we are going to get will not come from outside, it's going to come from inside, right?
um because in allowing ourselves to be silent because we are so there's a lot of distractions and so many things that can distract us. So we have to be really cognizant because the messages are coming from a silent place. It's not coming from out there. So, especially right now, in terms of the lining up and figuring the real um, stuff out, it's coming in clues, and you got to be silent in order to get those clues. Or that's how I've been experiencing the experience, anyways, in my own life. I need the silence. I need the silence.
We do have a sense of self, but it's inverted because when we are not listening to other people or we are not listening to the spirit, we are saying, hey, I will decide. You know what I mean? If you really see what's going on, we still want to make the decision. The decision should come from us, not from outside. So yeah, I feel that if we just, and that's where ego comes in, and that's why we say, hey, look at your ego. Your ego is coming in the way. And it's been the case with me too. Like people like Hilda herself and other people, and also my family who have tried to tell me, hey, this is what you're going through. But I'm like, no, I have to get it. You can tell me. And that's what I feel like community is about. Yes, they are there to hold you, but they are not there to process for you. They're not there to take the blame for you, if you know what I mean. Nobody's here doing anything to anyone. It ultimately comes back to us. You were saying something.
And we are always with that solution. There's some performance. There has to be a performance of some kind. And I say performance. We always feel like we have to do something in order to be in there to find the solution. And when you're being silent, you're not trying to find the solution. That's the whole point to being silent. But what are we trying to do? Is we're trying to perform. We're trying to perform something because of that, and so it's being cognizant of that.
Because I feel that that's what the topic is about today. Can we make space for what is real and what is true for us? Do we have the courage to make space for what is real and true? Can we do that? Do we have the courage to find solutions, to evolve? Do we want to grow? What do we want? Do we want to make people happy? And that's why I think, like you said, we perform to fit in because we think our survival is in the hands of this other person, our community, our thing, our bestie, whatever it is. But that is not true. The truth is free. Nobody owns it. Nobody can claim it. Yeah.
It's a task if you have to be out and about and you're around a lot of people. If you were fortunate enough to be in your own space of where you don't have to worry about filtering the thoughts of other people, a lot of thoughts of other people that you have more control on that than you know what I say take that time. I don't think now is the time to be around people. It ain't no time to be around people. Not a lot of people. I think it's a time to be it's your time with the universe. There is a whole new contract that is being established between you and the universe in terms of where you're going. You know, end of an old chapter into a new chapter. And in order to hear that universe speak, there is a level of silence, a great level of silence that, that you're not getting bombarded with somebody else's stuff, somebody else's thoughts, and knowing that we're not all on the same uh, we're not exactly vibrating on the same level all the time.
I even feel that we are in no competition to anybody except ourselves. And people can feel like, oh, we are hurt and you're trying to hurt us. But nobody's trying to hurt anybody here. We are all so we all have our own journeys. Even if we lived in the same house, we had the same food and for years and years. um, we still have our own unique journeys and paths and gifts and passions. And it's, yeah,
Mentality, it is not coming with a form of individual. You're not groomed into being an individual. Well, listen. Let me retract that statement because we have gotten away from originally who we are due to all of the programming, and we're getting back to more of our original. In terms of who we are. We are going back to self. We are identifying with all of that. But until we get there, we got to realize that we were programmed. So we have to be more cognizant of what centering with self because that's not how we're programmed to do. We're not supposed to. We're not programmed to uh from the world's programming, right?
we think we can solve the problem outside. No, we cannot. Um, because it's almost like the keys are inside and you're looking for the keys outside. It's like completely different rooms. Or someone's key won't fit in another's lock. You know what I mean? And I think when we say individuality, oh, hey, Sabrina and Susie wrote something too.
Not having people to people please or feel the need to fit in. That is it. At the end of the day, that's huge right there. Um, um,
Because we think individuality means you live on the top of a mountain and you don't care about no one. No, that's not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about is you taking the time to understand yourself and um, to know what works for you. And that's why we have to let go of certain things because not everything will go forward. Not everything will go forward. That's the thing. And it is a hard truth, but it is what it is.
moderator. Obviously I did, but I don't know why you ain't got a wrench. I'm gonna see what I'm doing there with that right now. Sorry, Revney. No, but I want to remove you, so you are a moderator. So yeah, I guess the fact that you're highlighted. What's that?
Pro, I said, in technology.
A bit-
Look at you.
Well, listen. Now I just figured out about the whole moderator thing really, really yesterday from you, Revney. So you know what? Nice move, Revney. Nice move. And yes, I'm gonna tell you. But all I needed to do was just learn it once. Just let me.
You're
Well,
a
I did
quick
learn it once.
learner.
I learned it once and forgot it.
You're a
Yeah,
quick learner,
yeah,
so that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, yeah. I don't see you, Revney.
You don't see me?
Yeah, now I can see you. Now I can see you.
I got a call in between, so I think that's
Ah,
what happened. Okay.
that's all
Are
right.
you guys okay? But I don't feel that, well, I have done that, and that's why I know it's not true. That's how I know.
Yes.
Is yes, you need time to learn about yourself and process whatever you need to process. But it's almost like we are learning to be, to hold ourselves and then go out and do the conversations that need to happen
Yes.
and be okay to let go if at all it doesn't fit, and it's okay because you will find that in another form because that's how universe works. But we will be willing to let go, and it's normal. It's really normal.
It's necessary. It is. Um, I want to use the term cleaning out the pantry. You must clean out the pantry because if you don't clean out your pantry can get filled with bugs. You know
Yes.
that flour that's not used. I'll say that, guys. I'll make that analogy for the baker. And most of us women we are bakers.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you said that because I was having a conversation with my mother yesterday about
I can see you now. That's how. You know what? I'll tell you something. I put my phone on do not disturb because that's what it does. Is it knocks you out of your live when it keeps ringing. Well, listen, I'm telling you right now. You know, my girl Angie. She was. I'll tell you. Not only was she a connector, but she was very, very. Oh my God, she was incredibly. Oh. You know, I'm glad, you know what she's doing her, is what I'm saying. She's doing her, and I love that girl. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I can see you. I can see you. Can't see her either. You can't see her either. Yeah. I think she was saying that from earlier when you had did the disappearing act. I think when I couldn't see you, they couldn't see you either because you had disappeared. But you're good now. Well, I'm not the only. Yeah. What's that? Can you hear and see Revney? Let's come back in. Yeah. And so just put a yes or a no, Y or an N. Can you see her? No sense, no can't see or hear her. Okay, you go on. Right on, right on. Yes. Oh, guys, I am sorry. Cause you know what? On my end of things, I'll tell you, it is looking absolutely. Yeah. It's like she is. I didn't have no problem. There you go. You're back.
How good
No,
man.
no, no. Everyone's saying no, no, no. They can't see you. But now, can you see her now? She came out and she came back. You know, YouTube is doing something. It really is. This live is going to be something else because you know
Okay,
it's going to be like we're going to
I'm
only
back.
be. What do they say? You're
I'm back.
back. You're back.
Okay.
She's back. She's
Okay,
back.
okay, okay. Good, good, good. Okay, so what I was saying was this topic of the pantry, right? It is so it fits because it's almost like when we and I was talking to my mother and I was talking to her because about that um the things that we don't say that needs to be corrected and
Yeah.
then they add up and then
Yeah.
they almost become that unused stuff in the pantry and we have
Yeah.
to get rid of it.
Yes.
Well, the better way of handling that would be to take care of the stuff when you as you go.
Yes. Be more. Speak.
Proactive.
Speak what you need
Yeah,
to speak. Get it out when
yeah.
it needs to be
And
gotten out. Yes. Mm,
and like be proactive and have the harder conversations when
absolutely.
right away as you go so that it doesn't end up becoming something you have to completely let go of. And that's what is happening. We have to then end up letting go of these things or people or situations because the work is not done. The work
Yes.
is not done.
You know what? My whole community seems to be out on the road tonight. And everyone that goes on the
Say
road.
my hello to them. Hi.
No, I feel like the queen. And
Bye.
everyone's dude. I'm like, okay. No, I should put a sign out. I'm doing a live. This is not a good time. No. I just feel like the queen. Hand always up. Proactive. Yes. Not. Let me see. Yeah, not- yeah, yeah.
It's back to the tribal mentality where you want to just fit in and make sure you have a place and make sure that people like you and people want you, um, but then end up losing yourself and also the other person. So I
Right.
guess it's not a very good way of handling things, I guess. We lose a lot there. And I think that's why religion was made, if you ask me, so that we can have these conversations regularly as a community, if you ask me. Because these things have to be talked about regularly. You can't just talk on a weekend or in a year or not even in a year. I don't even know what we do there, seriously, if you ask me. But
Are originally designed for, so that we could talk. Well,
I'm not even talking about when politics entered and when, all the current stuff. But I think the original idea, yeah, the hijack, I think the original idea, and it's there in so many other cultures, I think was this to have these conversations where we need to correct or do the things that we need to do. And I think there is now my mind is forming connections. There is a thing, I read it somewhere that in some tribes, people actually sit and argue for as long as they want, and they don't leave the table until they resolve their conflict.
that it's not going to resolve itself. That's another thing. Oh boy, yeah. But that's where it becomes. That's the whole importance of self. What you doing your own work, and you know what, you honoring what needs to be honored inside of you, irregardless of how it looks, how you are looking on, if you are honoring yourself. And
We have much less accountability and integrity as well. We tend to hide behind labels, and that actually doesn't help make the changes that needs to be made. And look at our society now, and look at our climate now, and look at our earth now. It's because we have zero accountability now. We think that we pay some money and it's all sorted. No, it's not. No, it's not.
a lot of us do. Wow, I bet some people died at the table. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm sure we wasted time. But I guess that's what we are doing now because we can't kill each other. So we just stay away from each other because that's the only way we can stay okay and sane, I guess. Um, because you can't change the other person because there's no accountability. Again, I'll go back to accountability. I think people in the past, because when I hear stories, like in Sikhi, Guru Nanak, the founder, right? He went to the most notorious people in India, the most notorious. He did not go to nice people. No. He used to go to people, he used to kill other people. He used to go to people who were like major stealers, like the most rogue people ever. And he used to have one-on-one conversation with them. But when I read their conversations, I feel these people have more accountability than nice people. And that's why he made an impact on them because I know they were doing wrong things, but I think they were still living. You know what I mean? It's hard to see beyond their act. But if you really see, I think people who are doing weird stuff, or I guess unlawful stuff, are still trying to do something.
Let's just talk about this matrix and how it is designed. And for every person in every family, it should be that, you get your job, you have enough to pay your rent, you have enough to feed your family. But that's not true of everybody. And it doesn't mean that, what, they're not going out there, they're not working. They're just, what, it's a lot of blockers that prevent a lot of people from doing what it is that they need to do. So, do you still want to feed your family? Yes. Now, how am I going to do that? Because the family still needs to be fed. Family still needs to be fed. The lights still need to be turned on. And then I'm just saying, Robin Hood, where the fuck do you think the Robin Hood story came from? Okay? And they gave him a whole book. Well, Robin Hood was a real man.
Beliefs and systems in which the main thing is we lose our accountability. I will go back to that word. We do. We think we are just accountable for like paying our bills and just like bare minimum. That's not living because you're still living in survival mode and you're still, I don't know where I'm going with this, but you know what I'm saying. Like
That's the program of the planet, to keep you in some form of on a hamster wheel, which ends up with the conditions. It feels more like survival mode than it does feel like living, depending on who you are. No, no, no.
sister, being a good brother, being a good daughter, whatever. These are valid purposes. You learn a lot from these relationships. So I don't think I am in any way saying that you don't need to work. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's about that intention and where you're coming from. If you are just focused on, oh yeah, I just want to be by myself, and you think you're living.
Certain things and certain actions, but we're not telling all the story. Most of the time, the full story is not being played out, nor do we have all the facts on why uh, people do what they do. That's what I was just trying to say. That if you put all the facts and you put it in there, well, might look at that as something different, you know.
Just sit outside and make assumptions. What are we even doing? Who are we
Right,
to judge other people?
right, 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 right.
Every person is responsible for themselves. And the I think the goal here, what we're talking about is, I think if everyone is authentic to themselves, it creates a more peaceful community. It creates more lively people because you won't have half dead people, right? That's what I think. If you're half dead, what's the point? If you can have millions of dollars, if you're dead, what's the point? And Gurbani, eh, yeah, and Gurbani does talk about it. Gurbani says that there's one in a million who is alive, and I was shocked to read that. And he wrote that they wrote that like 400 years ago, not 400, like 600 years ago. But that is still fitting because truth never changes, because that's the paradigm that we all need to work on ourselves. Nobody can do that for you.
Why? Because I know that there are that element of people that are out there that are experiencing. They've made that choice to be present in the moment, whether they that whatever way that looks, you know, whether it is in an abundance or what somebody might look as a lack. That's not how they're looking at it, you know.
And when the third master was looking for a son-in-law for his daughter, you know what he looked at? The guy that he found was selling boiled, um like those black chickpeas. They're not chickpeas, but the black ones. I don't know what they're called. He was selling that. Not black eyed peas, but like the white, the chickpeas are the white ones, and then there are black ones too, right? Um, Not black, but like light dark brown or something. Um, I forgot their name, but you know what I'm saying. And he was selling them, the boiled one, and he had no family. He had lost all his family, but everyone was like, yeah, he would be nice for your daughter, but he's not that good financially, and he doesn't have, what is he doing, look at him. And the guru said, but only he is like him, he has the qualities. So that's what the focus was, on the qualities. And that's what I was talking to with my mom. That's where abundance is. It's in the qualities. It's in your integrity. Abundance is attracted to your integrity, not what you look like, not what you do. It's you, your essence. And he married his daughter to then who became the fourth master, Guru Ramdas. But you see what I mean? I mean, and now, and I want to finish that because I said that because in hi Fatima, and like in my culture, when people look for the like room for their daughters, they look for someone tall and beautiful and financially stable and handsome. That's it. That's it. What does that mean?
letting go letting go of those concepts. That is, and you know what, because when you honoring yourself, you're not buying into those concepts that were delivered to us.
And we think that's life. That keeps you in the frequency of lack, keeps you in the frequency of not being enough. That keeps you in the frequency of um, feeling small. And that's not where abundance comes. No, never. And I guess that's why Amazon is so rich, because it keeps us in that frequency of, oh, deals, oh, there's that. We feel better about ourselves just hoarding stuff. I'm just saying, I don't know for why I'm saying this, but you know what I mean. It's like, yes.
That absence that I think that the collective might be experiencing, that absent feeling, and there's something that's associated between that and spending, because these pop-ups like Temu and Wish and all of those where, it's cheap, cheap, and that happened in 2020. 2020, presented us with a time of where we had to go inward, and I don't think we've ever come out of that ever since.
Let me
I
just say
know.
that um, let me just say that the universe is already putting things into balance, even if you don't see it. It is.
Yes, yes,
Because these things are not run by humans, it's
yeah,
run by the spirit, by the
yes,
source.
yes.
And it's always watching everyone, and it's always taking care of all of us. So these things are already, in some way, people, all of us are being provoked with our own personal lessons
You're right.
to come into balance, because balance is what we are built for. The That's what we are here for. That's how our bodies feel healthy, not through food. No, that's the thing that we think keeps us healthy. But it's that internal um, frequency, essence of feeling alive, loving what you do, being present, really being vulnerable, being present.
Yes.
Other Fatima,
Days. I don't know what that means. Absolutely.
I hate it. I just hate it. I used to do that when I was in college. You know what I mean? Not anymore. Using the phrase, that's just how I am. You're not taking accountability. It's your ego talking. Right? Right, Hilda? What do you think about this? You, Susie said the other thing is we use the phrase, that's just how I am.
Only goes up so far for a minute because with that, that says no growth. And we know that on the journey that you know what, I'm going to tell you something. When new information appears, you change the way you flow, you change the way you think, you change the way that you speak, you change how you do. And when you are aware that there's a change needed and you don't, well, you know, that's that's
Yeah, it's like I said, I used to say talk like this when I was in college or like high school, more like because it's a very limited perception of, it's
yeah,
very ego talking. Like there's no substance there, right?
no,
Okay. So I'm going to say this: before death and taxes, we lived in a time of community where we worked to help everyone in the community. It wasn't about as long as I get ahead, that's what matters. Yeah, yeah. And I think as time evolves, and I'm sure they had their own set of problems to deal with in the past. I don't think it was as, we think the past is always better, right?
yeah,
But I think with time, we need to just see what helps us grow, because we all are growing, right? And we don't want to spend our like an year getting to Europe, for example. You know what I mean? So definitely this, it's beautiful what we have, but maybe we can just be more cognizant of how we use it, and And also building, and also community needs to be built. It's not like it wasn't, I'm not sure it was easy in the past too. I don't believe that. Because humans are humans. Yeah.
Put into place during your rebuild. And right now, I look at it like that. That starts with right now with me in terms of assessing my community that I'm in terms of the people and all of that, in terms of how I'm dealing with the people. I'm dealing with them from that thought process. Now, not everybody thinks like that, but that's what I'm doing from my little place in the planet in terms of making change, changing that thought process of what has been lost, so severely lost.
Yeah. And I just feel like everything requires work. And Rome wasn't built in a day. You know what I mean? Like nothing is out of its inbuilt. Everything needs energy.
Neighbor's door for a cup of sugar if you needed to. Yes.
I did go and run for help. I do. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame in it. It's so natural. Yeah.
Yeah. You want how would you know if your neighbor needed you if you didn't, you know what I mean? How would you know? Okay, let me see. I didn't see him for a week, but now he's suffered a whole friggin' week in there. You know? Um, 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 I'm just saying that you know what? You have to not that you're gonna be up your neighbor's butt every day, but we need to get back to knowing who the heck our neighbor is what I'm trying to say. And we're programmed to be really isolated. Yes.
To know our neighbors in the future. And I still don't know all my neighbors. I guess I know some of them by face. I see them passing by, but I still really don't know all of them here.
Here comes another vehicle. Anyways, as we go through the shift of change, things get really hairy because they're it's going to intensify at some particular point. You might want to get to know your neighbor, is all I'm saying. You might want to have some type of formed relationship with your neighbor because it might be your neighbor that you know what you need to go and knock on the door of. That's all I'm saying. If it means your survival or anything like that of some kind, right? Right.
Susie saying we cared for the elderly and the weak and the infants and disadvantaged. Oh, you know what? This conversation is a whole topic in itself because, again, we are going so fast, we don't even know where we are going. I will just say that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Hilda. Just-
Are heading past the hour, and I don't want to. Yeah, we'll go back through the chat, and we'll see what other. You go ahead.
I was just saying that it keeps you in a cycle because they know that's a marketing strategy. Trust me. I do love these. Yes. Absolutely. Look at nature. We are becoming more balanced, whether we want to or not. I guess it was about balance. Absolutely, we are humans and how we view one another. Yes, Fatima is saying we have to care for everyone and respect everyone, races, beliefs, and religions. Yes. I live in Toronto. Oh, Fatima is from Canada? Oh, she lives in Toronto. Fatima lives in Toronto. That's beautiful.
Um, um, there is that element of respect that is needed. Two of Diamonds, hello, hello. A much needed conversation. Yes, it is a much needed conversation. And I thank you all for coming out this evening. You know, and we're going to keep having these conversations, even though I felt like sometimes we were a little bit, or I was a little bit all over the place. I had to harness myself in, but you know what? Sometimes that's the way it goes. You start out in one area and then you end up in another. But nonetheless, as I said, powerful conversation. We do need to keep having them. And thanks for showing up to everyone that showed up in the chat and all your comments and participation. I'm going to ask if you haven't already to hit the thumbs up before we go. And listen, share this video after we're all done. And thank you, Revneet, for coming out on this Friday. And listen, I know how to spell your name now. Well, you know what, baby girl? It has been it's always a pleasure. We've had some, and we're gonna have more. So folks, get used to this. Next time, maybe it'll be on your channel. But you know what? That's what we do. We like to knock these topics that are topics that most folk may be thinking about, or you know what, you're not even given the opportunity to think about it, but yet it's happening. Well, we were having those type of conversations. They are needed. That is what's changing this planet. We are getting away from the norm of everything. We're embracing the change that is needed. We're embracing our authenticity. We are embracing being an individual and different. And in order to be an individual and different, you do need to see how how we come about that. So you are welcome. You are welcome. Susie says thanks for the discussion. We got some hearts going out there. Anyways, we are. Unless you have something else to say, Miss Ravneet. And do you have any?
Oh no, it's just I I do love these topics, just like Hilda. So if you do want to find me, you can find me at channel Winds of Reflection.
Yes.
Um, I just love these kind of topics, and I do share them very fairly regularly on my channel. So yes, and thank you for having me. Always a pleasure,
Always
my
my
friend.
pleasure. Always my pleasure. Anyways, I'm going to
And thanks
leave.
everyone.
Yes, peace, love, good vibrations, and as always, healing. Healing is how we are going. Well, we're not going to stay in our healing. We're going to move beyond our healing eventually, right? That's what we want to do. Anyways, make a great Friday evening. Bye.